Everything you've been told about getting lean is backwards. The fitness world keeps selling shortcuts, secret workouts, magic supplements, and extreme diets that promise fast results. Yet every year, millions of people start their fat loss journey full of excitement, only to quit a few weeks later. It isn't because they're lazy. It isn't because they don't want it badly enough. And it definitely isn't because their body is somehow different from everyone else's. The real reason is much simpler. They begin with a plan that was never built to succeed. That single mistake quietly destroys progress before the first pound is even lost. It creates frustration, endless hunger, low energy, and the feeling that nothing is working. Then people blame themselves, when in reality the plan was the problem all along. The truth is that going from 30% body fat to 10% body fat isn't about starving yourself, cutting out every food you enjoy, or spending 2 hours a day on a treadmill. In fact, many of the methods that promise the fastest results actually make reaching your goal slower. Some even cause you to lose muscle instead of fat, leaving you looking smaller but not leaner. That's the part very few people talk about. Losing weight and losing body fat are not the same thing, and confusing the two has kept countless people trapped in a cycle of gaining and losing the same pounds over and over again. The body is far smarter than most people realize. Every decision you make sends signals that tell your body whether to burn fat, preserve muscle, slow down your metabolism, or hold on to energy. Most people unknowingly send the wrong signals every single day. They eat too little, do too much cardio, skip recovery, and wonder why progress suddenly stops. The frustrating plateau that feels like bad luck is often the predictable result of mistakes made weeks earlier. Even more surprising is that many people who finally reach a low body fat percentage still aren't happy with how they look because they lost the muscle that gives the body shape and definition. That is why this journey isn't just about becoming lighter. It's about becoming leaner, stronger, healthier, and building a physique that actually looks athletic instead of simply looking smaller. Throughout this video, you're going to learn exactly how this transformation really works from start to finish. You'll understand why your starting point changes the strategy you should follow, why eating less is only one small piece of the puzzle, why protein is far more important than most people think, and why lifting weights is just as essential for fat loss as it is for building muscle. You'll also learn how cardio should actually be used, why sleep quietly controls your appetite more than willpower ever can, and why tracking progress the wrong way causes so many people to give up right before their biggest breakthrough. We'll break down the journey into clear stages so you know what changes to expect as your body fat drops, why progress naturally slows as you get leaner, and what separates the people who successfully reach 10% body fat from those who stay stuck halfway. You'll discover the biggest myths that continue to spread across social media, the common mistakes that waste months of effort, and the simple habits backed by real science that consistently produce results. None of this requires expensive supplements, complicated meal plans, or impossible workout routines. It requires understanding how your body actually works and making decisions that support it instead of fighting against it. One of the biggest surprises waiting for you in this video is the mistake that almost everyone makes before they even begin dieting. It sounds harmless. In fact, most people think it's the smartest way to start, but this single decision can make fat loss dramatically harder, increase cravings, reduce energy, slow recovery, and even cause muscle loss long before visible fat starts disappearing. Fixing this one mistake changes everything, and once you understand it, many of the confusing experiences you've had with dieting in the past will suddenly make perfect sense. We'll also explain why some people appear to lose fat effortlessly, while others struggle despite working just as hard, and why consistency always beats intensity when the goal is lasting transformation. The answers aren't hidden inside complicated formulas or elite fitness secrets. They're found in a few simple principles that most people overlook because they seem too ordinary to be powerful. But those ordinary habits, repeated every day, create extraordinary results over time. This isn't a video designed to entertain you with unrealistic before and after photos or impossible promises. This is a roadmap built around reality. The journey from 30% body fat to 10% isn't easy, but it is completely achievable when you stop chasing shortcuts and start following a system that actually works. Every section of this video builds on the last, so watching until the end will give you the complete picture instead of disconnected tips that are difficult to apply. By the time you finish, you'll know exactly where to start, what to focus on, what to ignore, how to avoid the traps that stop most people, and how to stay on track even when motivation disappears. You'll save yourself months, and possibly years, of trial and error by learning from proven principles instead of internet trends. If you're serious about transforming your body, improving your health, and finally understanding what really drives fat loss, then this video is for you. Stay with us until the very end, because some of the most valuable lessons come later, when we reveal why the final stretch from average to truly lean is completely different from the beginning, and why that's the stage where most people quit without realizing they're closer than ever to success. Welcome to the channel. If you're ready to stop wasting time on fitness myths and start following practical strategies that actually deliver results, make sure you subscribe and join us, because every video here is built to help you train smarter, eat better, and become the strongest, healthiest version of yourself. Let's get started. The first thing you need to understand is where you're starting. If you're around 30% body fat, your mission is not to chase visible abs as quickly as possible. That goal sounds exciting, but it often leads people to make decisions that slow their progress instead of speeding it up. At this stage, your biggest priority is creating habits that you can repeat every single day. The body does not transform because of one perfect workout or one perfect meal. It transforms because of hundreds of good choices made over weeks and months. This is why so many people fail. They expect dramatic changes in a few weeks, and when that doesn't happen, they believe the plan isn't working. In reality, the body is working exactly as it should. Fat loss takes time, especially if your goal is to lose fat while keeping muscle. The closer you get to your goal, the slower progress becomes, and that's completely normal. Looking at someone with 10% body fat and expecting to reach that level in a month is like expecting to build a house in a weekend. Every stage has to be completed before the next one begins. Patience is not optional. It is part of the process. The good news is that every small improvement makes the next step easier. Better eating habits become routine. Exercise feels more natural. Energy improves. Confidence grows. Eventually, the lifestyle that once felt difficult becomes your new normal. Many people also misunderstand what 10% body fat actually looks like. They think it simply means being skinny, but that's far from the truth. At around 10% body fat, your muscles become much more visible. Your abs begin to show clearly. Your shoulders, arms, chest, and legs have better definition. Your waist looks tighter, and your overall physique appears athletic rather than just thin. But reaching this level also comes with responsibilities. Staying at 10% body fat all year isn't easy for most people. It usually requires paying close attention to food choices, training consistently, getting enough sleep, and avoiding long periods of overeating. Professional athletes and fitness models often look extremely lean only during certain periods because maintaining that condition year-round can be mentally and physically demanding. This is why your goal should not simply be chasing the lowest body fat percentage possible. Your goal should be finding a healthy level that fits your lifestyle while making you feel strong, energetic, and confident. For some people, that might be 15%. For others, it could be 12%. The important thing is understanding that becoming healthier is far more valuable than chasing a number just because it looks impressive on social media. Now let's fix the mistake that ruins almost every fat loss journey before it even begins. Most people think they need to go on a diet. That word alone creates the wrong mindset. Dieting sounds temporary. It sounds like suffering for a few weeks until you finally reach your goal. Then you go back to eating normally. That is exactly why so many people regain the weight they worked so hard to lose. Instead of thinking about dieting, think about creating a calorie deficit. The difference is huge. A calorie deficit simply means your body uses more energy than it receives from food. When that happens consistently, your body starts using stored fat to make up the difference. This is the basic principle behind every successful fat loss plan. No matter what diet someone follows, whether it's low carb, low fat, intermittent fasting, or any other approach, fat loss only happens if a calorie deficit exists. There is no special food that melts body fat. There is no tea that burns away belly fat overnight. There is no workout powerful enough to erase thousands of extra calories from overeating. The human body follows basic energy balance whether we like it or not. Once you understand this, fat loss becomes much less confusing. The mistake many beginners make is creating the biggest calorie deficit they possibly can. They skip meals, survive on tiny portions, cut out entire food groups, and try to lose as much weight as possible in the shortest amount of time. At first, the scale moves quickly and they feel excited. But then, reality catches up. Hunger becomes overwhelming. Energy drops. Gym performance gets worse. Recovery slows down. Cravings become stronger every day. Eventually, one cheat meal turns into an entire cheat weekend, followed by guilt and frustration. This cycle repeats over and over because the body is fighting to protect itself. A moderate calorie deficit is far more effective because it allows steady progress without making life miserable. Losing fat slowly also gives your body a better chance to preserve muscle, and keeping muscle is one of the biggest factors that determines how good you look when the fat finally comes off. Food quality also matters more than people think. Yes, calories determine whether you lose fat, but the foods you choose determine how easy or difficult that process becomes. If most of your meals come from highly processed foods, you'll probably feel hungry much sooner, even if you've eaten enough calories. On the other hand, meals built around lean protein, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, healthy fats, and other whole foods tend to keep you satisfied for much longer. Protein deserves special attention because it does several important jobs at once. It helps repair muscle after training. It helps preserve muscle while you're losing fat. It also increases fullness, making it easier to stick to your calorie target without feeling like you're starving. Many people eat far less protein than they need, and that makes the journey much harder than it has to be. Along with protein, vegetables provide volume without adding many calories, fiber improves digestion and controls hunger, and drinking enough water prevents dehydration, which is often confused with hunger. These small habits seem simple, but together they create an eating pattern that supports fat loss without constant suffering. Training is another area where people often make expensive mistakes. The moment they decide to lose fat, they stop lifting weights and spend all their time doing cardio. That approach sounds logical until you understand what strength training actually does. When you lift weights, you send your body a very important message. You tell it that your muscles are needed. During a calorie deficit, your body is always looking for ways to save energy. If muscles aren't being used, the body may break them down along with fat. That leaves you lighter, but not necessarily leaner. Strength training protects your muscle while the calorie deficit removes fat. As body fat decreases, those preserved muscles become more visible, creating the athletic look most people actually want. Muscle also increases the amount of energy your body uses throughout the day, although not as dramatically as many people believe. More importantly, muscle completely changes the shape of your physique. Cardio helps burn calories, but lifting weights shapes the body underneath the fat. This doesn't mean cardio is useless. Cardio is an excellent tool when used correctly. Walking every day is one of the easiest ways to increase calorie burn without exhausting yourself. A daily walk improves fitness, burns extra calories, reduces stress, and is easy to recover from. Moderate cardio sessions can also improve heart health while supporting fat loss. The mistake is treating cardio as punishment for eating. Spending hours running while barely eating enough food usually creates more problems than solutions. Recovery becomes difficult, workouts suffer, hunger increases, and maintaining that routine becomes almost impossible. A smarter approach is starting with a reasonable amount of daily movement and only increasing activity if progress slows over time. This keeps more options available later instead of using every strategy during the first week. Another factor that gets ignored is sleep. Many people focus on every gram of food while sleeping only 5 or 6 hours every night. Poor sleep affects the hormones that regulate hunger and fullness, making unhealthy food far more tempting the next day. It also reduces recovery, lowers workout performance, and makes good decisions harder to maintain. When you're tired, your brain naturally looks for quick sources of energy, which often means high-calorie snacks and sugary foods. Good sleep won't magically burn fat, but it makes following your fat loss plan much easier. Better recovery leads to better workouts. Better workouts help preserve muscle. Better sleep improves focus, mood, and consistency. These small improvements build on each other over time. Tracking progress is another area where many people become discouraged. They step on the scale every morning and let one number decide whether they feel successful or defeated. Body weight naturally changes every day because of water, food, salt intake, and many other factors. That means today's number doesn't always reflect actual fat loss. Instead of relying only on the scale, pay attention to your waist measurement, progress photos, how your clothes fit, your strength in the gym, and your weekly average weight. Sometimes the scale barely changes while your waist becomes noticeably smaller because you're losing fat and maintaining muscle. Looking at multiple forms of progress gives you a much clearer picture than chasing one number. There are also 4 major mistakes that continue to trap people year after year. The first is trying to lose fat as fast as possible instead of as consistently as possible. The second is changing everything at once by following a perfect meal plan, exercising every day, cutting out favorite foods, and expecting those habits to last forever. The third mistake is believing supplements will solve problems caused by poor habits. Supplements can support good nutrition, but they cannot replace it. The fourth mistake is quitting after one bad week. Everyone has birthdays, vacations, stressful days, and moments where they eat more than planned. Those moments do not ruin progress. Giving up completely is what ruins progress. Reaching 10% body fat isn't about being perfect every single day. It's about making better choices more often than bad ones, and trusting the process even when the results seem slow. Every successful transformation follows the same basic roadmap. Create a moderate calorie deficit instead of starving yourself. Eat enough protein to protect your muscles. Lift weights consistently so your body has a reason to keep that muscle while the fat comes off. Use cardio wisely to support your progress instead of relying on it to fix poor eating habits. Make sleep a priority because recovery is just as important as training. Track your progress using more than just the number on the scale. And above all, stay consistent long enough to let these habits work. None of these steps are complicated on their own, but together they create a system that has helped countless people completely transform their bodies. There will be days when your motivation disappears. There will be weeks when the scale refuses to move. There will be moments when you'll wonder if all the effort is worth it. Those moments are part of every real transformation. The people who finally reach their goal aren't the ones with the best genetics or the most expensive gym membership. They're the ones who keep showing up when the excitement is gone. They understand that one workout won't change their body, just as one missed workout won't ruin it. One healthy meal won't make them lean, just as one cheat meal won't make them fat. What truly matters is what happens most of the time, not once in a while. Remember, going from 30% body fat to 10% body fat isn't about discovering the perfect diet or the perfect workout. It's about repeating the right habits long enough for your body to respond. There are no magic pills, no secret exercises, and no shortcuts that replace patience and consistency. The process may take months, but every workout, every healthy meal, every good night's sleep, and every small decision moves you one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. The body you're working toward is built by the choices you make today, tomorrow, and every day after that. If this video helped you understand the journey in a clearer way, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming videos packed with practical fitness advice, nutrition tips, and science-backed strategies to help you reach your goals faster. Also, give this video a like because it helps us create more content like this and reach more people who are tired of fitness myths and want real results. Share this video with a friend or family member who's trying to lose body fat but keeps struggling with confusing advice. It might be the roadmap they've been looking for. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.